Welcome back, guys, to the Andrew Delic podcast. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. That quote, guys, for people who don't know, comes from the movie The Departed with Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, who is the father of Charlie Sheen. That quote comes from that movie. The movie was made by Martin Scorsese, probably the greatest director of all time, but that quote from that movie, that quote is probably the best fucking quote in all of cinema history. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. There isn't how much of a fucking top G quote that is. And that's said by the guy, Jack Nicholson. In that movie, he plays the biggest gangster in Boston. And he says that in the beginning of the movie. So to be a fucking criminal, the biggest criminal in one of the biggest cities in the world, and to say that shit, you're a top fucking G. But do you know what that means, guys? That means that you don't want to follow your alentour. You don't want to follow your entourage. You want to follow your own path. And by following your own path, you want your environment, your entourage, everyone living in your community, everyone who surrounds you, they want them to abide by your laws. You want them to abide by how you live and by how you dictate your life and your world, your inner world. That's a really top G fucking quote, man, if I'm being honest. That movie, put the quote to the side, but that movie, first of all, is a masterpiece, a fucking masterpiece done by Martin Scorsese, the greatest director of all time. The producer of that movie is Brad Pitt. For people who don't know, he has a production company called Plan B. He produced that movie. Technically, he was supposed to play the role of Matt Damon in that movie, but just before they started shooting, they decided that Brad Pitt wasn't necessarily the best man for that role, and then they decided to cast Matt Damon for that role. For people who didn't watch that movie, cover your ears right now because I'm going to spoil a little bit. But Matt Damon in that movie, the character he plays, he's a piece of fucking shit, man. If there's one person that I could beat up, not Matt Damon, I fucking love him, I respect him. But that character, what's his fucking name of that character? I forgot. That character, the movie came out in like 2007, 2008. The character that Matt Damon plays, if I could only slap him once, Jesus fucking Christ, life would be good. But to get back to that quote, and that quote started the movie with, I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. That's me, guys. That's me, Andrew Delic, with my podcast in Canada, in Quebec. All you wokies. Then I have to detach myself from my environment, a wokey environment, a liberal, far left environment. I have to detach myself. I detach myself like a true warrior. And then I try to create this new environment because I want my environment to be a product of me. Enough with wokeism in Canada, enough with all these far left liberals, all these wokies. Americans, if there's any Americans listening to this, if you think you guys have a lot of far left liberals and you guys have a lot of wokies, you're not fucking ready for Canada, man. The amount of fucking wokies and far left liberals that we have here is fucking crazy. Me, Andrew Delic, as a 25-year-old expert, social scientist is how I like to call myself. Me, Andrew Delic, as a 25-year-old social scientist, I am trying to break this curse in Canada. I'm trying my best, guys. You gotta help me. That's what my podcast, that's what it stands for. It's against wokeism, against woke people, against far left ideologies, against far left liberals. That's what the Andrew Delic podcast is all about. It's all about against wokeism and against far left liberals. So I don't want to be a product of my fucking environment. But I'm not backing down. I'm not leaving. This is my country. I'm going to make this country better than what it currently is. That's why, let me get back to what I used to say before. AD for PM, Andrew Delic for fucking Prime Minister. I swear to God, on everything I love, clip this shit. I actually do my own clips, so I'm going to clip it when I'm going to be older. On everything I love, one day I'm going to be Prime Minister of Canada. On everything I love, I'm going to clip this shit. We're the 20th of January, 2026. If by the age of 45, I'm not Prime Minister of Canada, I'm gay. I said it, clip it, book it, post it, save it, reshare it, share it on your fucking story, like, comment, screen record, whatever you have to do. I'm talking to you, you little fucking haters. Whatever you guys have to do it, but it's gonna fucking happen. Let me say it one last time because it's such a fucking top G quote. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment, far leftist, wokist Canadians, to be a product of me. Unwoke, unliberal, far right, far right ideologies. I'm joking. They're not far right. They're perfectly in the middle. You know how they say there's nothing perfect in this world? My ideologies are perfectly in the middle. Perfectly perfect. That's what my ideologies are. Of course, wokists, woke people, far left liberals, they can say, oh no, he's such a far right, he's such a racist, he's such a homophobe, he's such a sexist, blah, blah, blah. He's so racist towards minorities and towards immigrants and towards people of other races and towards Muslims and towards blah, blah, blah. Let's all chill the fuck out. That's not what I stand for. I'm perfectly in the middle. I'm just logical, rational, human being. That's all I am. Pro-Westerner, because I live in the West. So of course I'm going to be pro-Western. And not only because I live in the West, but the West is by far the best place on planet Earth. They innovated the most. They did the most. It's the best place on planet Earth. And that's why everyone wants to live there. That's why all the immigrants from third world countries, when they want to move somewhere to find a better country for them, for their family, for their kids, a better life for their kids, a better life for their future generations, they all say, let me go to white countries. Let me go to Western countries. Why? Because it's the best fucking place on planet fucking Earth. So if someone who is from the Western world wants to protect that country, those values, that culture, that way of life, well, he's just smart because he knows that that's the best way of life. We are not perfect. The Western world isn't perfect. America isn't perfect. Canada isn't perfect. France isn't perfect. England isn't perfect. The Western world isn't perfect, but it's by far the best place to live on planet fucking Earth. And that's why everyone, and I literally mean everyone, that's why everyone immigrates to the Western world. That's why. Because it's the best place on planet Earth, built by white people, white Christians. They built the Western world and they built the best fucking place on planet Earth. North America wasn't built by immigrants. It was built by settlers. It was built by colonizers. We can call them, how do we call them? Conquerors? Let's call them conquerors, not colonizers. I mean, technically they are colonizers. They did colonize North America. But I personally, Andrew Delich, I want to call them conquerors because that's what they are. They came here and they fucking conquered. That's what they fucking did. They came here, they conquered, and inside of 300 years, even less, 260 years, they created the best place on planet Earth. That's why all the immigrants from third world countries, from Africa, from Asia, from Latin America, from wherever, they all want to immigrate to Canada, to America, and to the Western world because it's the best place on fucking planet Earth. And that's a fact. Let's get a little bit philosophical on this. Let's start off with Lao Tzu, a great philosopher from East Asia. He said, one who believes in himself has no need to convince others. If you truly believe in yourself, in your competence, in everything you can do and everything you can achieve, if you truly believe in you and in yourself, you don't need to convince anyone. Why? Whenever someone brings you down and says, oh, you're not going to accomplish shit, you're never going to accomplish your dreams, you're never going to amount to what you want to amount to, you're never going to do what you want to do. But if deep down you know that that's all stupid, it's all blasphemous, and it's not true, if deep down you truly know that that's not true, you'll never feel like the need to debate with them. Why? Because deep down, you're not going to waste energy debating on something that you know is not true. So if you truly believe in yourself, I'm not saying you think you believe in yourself, but you don't truly believe in yourself. If you truly believe in yourself, in your competency, in your capabilities, in your dreams, and if you truly believe that one day you will accomplish your dreams, you won't give a fuck what other people have to say. You won't give a fuck about their opinion, and you won't specifically give a fuck about their opinion about you and your dreams and your goals. So instead of working on debating with other people, instead of putting all your energy into explaining to others that no, believe me, one day my dreams will come true. No, believe me, I'm really good. I'm gonna accomplish all my dreams. Blah blah. Instead of putting all your energy on that, put your energy on getting the confidence to believe in yourself, to truly believe in yourself that one day you will accomplish all of your dreams. If you can do that, you're gonna save so much time and so much energy that you can put time and energy into accomplishing your dreams instead of putting that energy and time into debating and arguing with other people, with unnecessary people who aren't helping you move forward in your life. Some can be your friends, some can be your family members, whoever they are. Don't waste your time and your energy explaining to them that actually you can accomplish your dreams and you have the skill set to accomplish your dreams and that one day you will accomplish your dreams. Work on actually building confidence and actually truly believing deep down inside your soul that one day you will accomplish your dreams and that one day you will fulfill your full potential and your full destiny. That's how it's fucking done, man. Let's drink some fucking Gatorade. I'm not sponsored by them, so don't drink Gatorade until they sponsor me. Then one day when they will sponsor me, then I'll tell you guys to drink Gatorade. But until then, don't fucking drink Gatorade. Next topic. So this is a quote from Robert Greene, an amazing person, a phenomenal person. He said, "To not follow your passion in life is a recipe for failure and unhappiness." Whatever your passion is, I don't care if you're not making any money. I don't care if you're fucking losing money. I don't care what your passion is. Follow it. As simple as that. Don't let other people decide for you what your passion is. Only your soul and your heart knows what your true passion is. Once you find out what it is, if you don't follow it, that is a recipe for failure and unhappiness. If you don't follow your passion, if you're not chasing your dreams and your passion, you are your worst enemy. You want to be your best friend. You want to be your own best friend. And the only way you can be your own best friend is by listening to your soul, listening to your heart, and chasing your dreams and following your passion relentlessly. Not giving a fuck what anyone has to say, not caring when you face failure, when you face rejection. That doesn't move you. It doesn't move you. It doesn't shake you. You keep going forward. Because like Robert Greene said, to not follow your passion in life is a recipe for failure and unhappiness. So literally follow your passion, no matter what your passion is. It can bring you a lot of money one day. Maybe it never will, but that's your passion. Follow it. If you're not going to follow it, you're going to live a miserable life. You're going to do something you don't like to do. You're going to waste 8 hours every single day going to a job you don't like to go to, doing something you hate doing. And then after that, when you're going to get home, you're going to be all mad, all depressed, and you're not going to have a happy life. Like someone said, we spend 1/3 of our life working. The other third, we're sleeping, 8 hours of sleeping, 8 hours of working. So since we are spending a third of our life, and even if I might add, 8 hours where we're sleeping, we have to sleep, right? All human beings have to sleep. So technically you're wasting half your day doing something you don't like to do if you have a job you don't like going to. So if you're working 8 hours a day and you're awake 16 hours a day, 16 divided by 2, that's 8. So if you do a job that you hate, you're spending half of your life doing something you hate doing. Like something that literally crushes your soul, crushes your heart, and kills all of your ambition and creativity. As human beings, we're all creative. But in order for us to be creative, for every single human being, in order for them to be creative, they have to do something that they are passionate about. That's how it works. When someone is passionate about painting, if he goes and paints, he's going to be creative when it comes to painting. Maybe if you put him in a job that he doesn't like to do, building cars, then he's not going to be creative because that's not his passion. But when he does something that he's passionate about, that's when he's going to be creative. So all human beings are creative when it comes to their passion. Just some people, many people, they go their entire life without ever really finding their passion. And even for people who do find their passion, they don't have, it's either not having the balls to follow it or not believing in yourself, so you don't follow it and you don't pursue it and you let your dreams and passions die. Or you face failure once or twice, then you give up. Don't give up. But all human beings can be creative. The only reason some human beings aren't creative is because they aren't doing a job that they're passionate about and they're wasting 50% of their life doing something that they hate doing. You only have one life. And I'm only 25 years old, so I'm not going to speak like, oh, yeah, I'm this old guy telling you that time goes by quickly. But from 18 to 25, that's my life experience. From 18 to 25, it went by so fucking quickly. So I can only imagine what 25 to 45 looks like. I can only imagine. My dad, who's 56, let's say, somewhere around that age, he tells me that he can remember like if it was yesterday when he was 25. That's so, and he's not the first old guy to tell me that. Many people told me that. So I think it's like a general rule that life goes by quickly, time goes by really quickly. So don't waste your time doing something you're not passionate about, doing something you don't like doing, and even worse, doing something that you hate doing. That's even fucking worse. Don't waste your time. Please don't waste your time. And plus, from what we know, we only have one life. And if we're only going to have one life, you know, like how they say YOLO, I know it's a bit corny to say, but it's true. You only live once. And if we truly only have one life, make that life your best life because you only have one fucking life and you only have one shot at this shit. Next topic. Oh, a little bit of soccer. I like that. Let's get into it. So someone wrote on Twitter, am I going to get pissed? Did he write something that's going to piss me off? He said, if only teams were bold enough to walk out and... Bro. Sometimes like I create my own episodes. Sometimes I naturally just piss myself. Like I make myself pissed. So I guess I get good content. I don't know. So this guy wrote, if only teams were bold enough to walk out in 2022, a certain man won't have a World Cup today. But it is what it is. Oh my God. Yo, this guy, bro. I hate this fucking guy. He said, for people who don't know, the CAF, the African Cup of Nations, AFCON in English. It finished Sunday. Morocco played against Senegal in the final. I didn't watch the game because the level of football is fucking shit. I had a big debate with my African friends on Saturday, telling them that African soccer isn't as good as Latin American soccer. They told me that it's better. Almost lost my mind there, but hey, it's all good. They're my friends. I love them. But it's not. For people who know soccer, it's not the same level. Latin American soccer is a million times better than African soccer. But yes, like I said, European soccer and Latin American soccer is by far the best. But after those two continents, it's African soccer. African soccer is better than North American soccer. It's better than Asian soccer and Australia and whatever. But it's not better than Latin American soccer. And to get back to what I was saying. So this Sunday, Morocco played against Senegal, the final of the 2026 AFCON. And like coming to the end of the game, Morocco got a penalty, but the Senegalese players disagreed. They said that the ref didn't give a fair penalty, so their players started walking off like, okay, you know what, this game, like in the logic of this game is rigged, so we're walking off because we don't want to play a rigged game. But the game was 0-0. There was like 4 or 5 minutes left to the game, and the Senegalese wanted to walk off because Morocco was just gifted with a penalty, and they knew that there's more chances that he scores that penalty, and then since there's only 4 minutes left, that they lose the match. So that's why this guy said, if only teams were bold enough to walk out in 2022, because Senegal wanted to do that this past Sunday when they play in the final, but I mean, no team ever does that. This kind of shit only happens in AFCON. It only happens in the African Cup of Nations. Don't ask me why. It only happens in that league, in that tournament. Those kind of things only happen in those tournaments. So and then he said, if teams were as bold to walk out like Senegal, a certain man, we all know that this certain man is Lionel Messi, won't have your World Cup today, but it is what it is. First of all, Messi won the World Cup. Messi and Argentina won the World Cup fair and fucking square. They were the best team the entire tournament, Every single game except the first game when they played against fucking Saudi Arabia and they lost 2-0. I don't know how that happened, but hey, it's a fluke. It's one game, no problem. It's the group stage. No one cares. Instead of that game, except that game, every single game that Argentina played, they were by far the best team on the pitch. By far. And they were by far the best team in the tournament. And Messi was by far the best player that tournament. Even if all the teams would have walked out, Messi would have still won the World Cup. Even if Messi would have played 10 times the amount of games that he played. So instead of playing 7 games in the World Cup, if he had to play 70 games in order to win the World Cup, he still would have won the World Cup. So this guy, at Peak Santi, I don't know, doesn't know shit about football. And if you agree with what he said, with what he tweeted, with what he wrote, then I hate to break it to you, but you don't know shit about football because this is fucking blasphemous. Next topic. I'm gonna get pissed again. Let's do it. So this guy, United Trey, this guy is going crazy on Twitter. I fucking hate that guy. He said, unpopular opinion, 1,000 goals is a greater achievement than a World Cup trophy. How much of a Ronaldo dick rider do you have to be to say this kind of shit? Okay, yes, I'm a Messi dick rider. I'll accept that title. I don't care. I'll accept it with pride. But to go as far as to say that 1,000 goals is a greater achievement than a World Cup trophy is fucking blasphemous. That's crazy. That's crazy. There isn't one achievement that Ronaldo has that is better than any of Messi's achievements. Not one. When Messi gets up in the morning and brushes his teeth, that achievement is better than any of Ronaldo's achievements. Like, guys, let's stop this nonsense. 1,000 goals isn't a greater achievement than Messi's 2022 World Cup run and World Cup win. It's not. And if you think it is, again, I hate to break it to you. You don't know shit about football. Next topic. Again, football. Fuck, I'm gonna get pissed, man. I'm gonna fucking break something here. Okay, someone wrote 1-1 because of corruption, while the other one against corruption. Please stop this disrespect towards Mane and Senegal. Jesus fucking Christ. So let me put it into context. So you see this picture here, guys? Pretty sure it's pretty close. So 433, a big footballing journal, right? I guess they're like a media company for soccer, for football. And they said, they put a picture of Messi holding the World Cup trophy, and then they put a picture of Sadio Mane holding the AFCON trophy. Let me show you guys one more time. Perfect. So, and they wrote same energy. And then one guy had the audacity to go and write 1-1 because of corruption, while the other one against corruption. Please stop this disrespect towards Mane and Senegal. Messi's 2022 World Cup run is 1,000,000 times better and greater than Sadio Mane's 2026 AFCON run. Real shit. Let me keep it real right now since it's a reality check. If I was to go out in Gatineau and Ottawa and I was to pick 10 random people in the streets and we were to create a soccer team, we would have winning chances in the AFCON. Real shit. Bash me all you want. Hate on me all you want. But that's fucking facts. If I would go right now, I get up from this chair, I go outside, I pick not 10 soccer players from Gatineau, Ottawa, 10 random people. I go to a fucking corner store. You, the guy at the desk, what are you doing tonight? I don't know. Come play soccer. Okay, I have one. But I choose 10 people like that. We would have winning chances in the AFCON. Real shit. Maybe we wouldn't win. We would minimum finish top 3. Minimum. Easy, light work. And half the team is drunk half the time. We would still have winning chance in the AFCON. That's the level of difference between the World Cup and the AFCON. It's not even close. And the way Messi won it was way more magnificent and way more magical than Sadio Mane and the way he won with Senegal the AFCON. Let's stop this fucking nonsense. So someone else wrote, people won't admit this, but the African Cup of Nations is a much better tournament than Copa America. Hell nah. Hell nah. Crazy take, wild take, stupid take. The Copa America is a million times better than the AFCON. It's a way better tournament. The level of skill is better. The fans are better. The atmosphere is better. The level of football is better. The food is better. Everything is better when it comes to football in the Copa America against the AFCON. But like I said so many times, after the Euros and after the Copa America, AFCON is the best. So that's good. I mean, top three. It's not bad. I mean, you guys aren't one or two, never in your life. But top three isn't bad, right? Like, come on, let's be honest. Okay, there's a little bit of politics, I guess. Okay, let's do politics. But let me drink some. Again, I'm not sponsored by Gatorade, so don't drink Gatorade. Okay, so Donald Trump wrote on Twitter. I like this. Donald Trump, let's see. There is $19 billion in Minnesota Somalia fraud. Fake Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a constant complainer who hates the USA, knows everything there is to know. She should be in jail, or even worse, or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia. Considered one of the absolutely worst countries in the world, she could help to make Somalia great again. Yo, Trump. Yo, I don't know how this guy is president, but I fucking love it, man. Yo, a guy to be president and to speak the way he speaks, to tweet the way he tweets. American history, right? Never saw this shit before. Obama never tweeted like this. George Bush never tweeted like this. Joe Biden never spoke like this or tweeted like this. Bill Clinton never did. Ronald Reagan never did. I don't know, man. But Donald Trump is something else, man. I fucking love it, man. There's $19 billion in Minnesota Somalia fraud. That's crazy, actually. How the Somalians frauded $19 billion in Minnesota. That's actually fucking crazy. He said that fake Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a constant complainer who hates the USA. That's true. She's always complaining about the USA, and she never literally said that she hates the USA, but the way she speaks about the US, she doesn't seem like a big fan of the US, and she doesn't feel like she's really patriotic to be American, and she doesn't really look like someone who loves the US. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. He said that she knew everything there was to know about the Somalia fraud. Now, again, it's only speculations. We don't know if it's true, but if it's true, she should be in prison because that's fucking fraud what he did in Minnesota. And then he said she should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia. If she's a citizen, which she is, you can't send her back because she's a citizen, and by law, when someone is a citizen, like my parents, they're immigrants, but they're citizens, you cannot send them back to their country because their new country now is the country that they are citizens of. But I understand the emotions behind what he said. He doesn't really like Somalian people, and I don't have anything against Somalians, but I don't like people who come here from other countries and constantly bash on this country and are not appreciative and are not patriotic of this new country that opened its arms to them. That's the only thing I don't like. Then he said, consider one of the absolutely worst countries in the world. Trump and something else. I love that guy. Okay, so guys, recently, there was like a hangout, I guess, with the Tate brothers. They were with Nick Fuentes. They were with the Fresh and Fit guys. I forgot their name. Myron Gaines, and I forgot the other guy's name. He's black. I forgot his name. And the clavicular Sneeko. I know Sneeko. And so they did like a hangout. And on their way to the club, they were like in a party bus, I guess you can call it. They were in a party bus, and they were rocking this song I didn't even know existed from Kanye West. A really anti-Semitic song. And in that song, they said that it was banned. I guess it's banned. I'm not surprised. In that song, Kanye West is constantly saying, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to fucking say it right now on camera, but he was saying Heil Hitler. I said it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it. But in that song, Kanye West was constantly saying N-word, Heil Hitler. And then the guys bumped it and they were singing N-word, Heil Hitler, N-word, Heil Hitler. And at the same time, they were saying, fuck the Jews, fuck the Jews, fuck the Jews. The Jews are mad, blah, blah, blah. N-word, Heil Hitler. They were constantly saying that. Now, of course, I understand there were guys going to the club wanting to have fun, but this is really anti-Semitic. And when I hear Nick Fuentes talk, like I said, there are some things that I agree with him, but there are many things that I disagree with Nick Fuentes. And one of the things that I disagree with him is how much of an anti-Semite he is, how much he hates Jewish people. Nick Fuentes, Clavicular, Sneeko, who is a Muslim, he hates a lot Jewish people. He said it many times on his platform that he hates Jews. The Tate brothers, they spoke about it a little bit, but they never really said anything clear. But whenever they speak freely and clearly about the Jews, they never show hatred. So I cannot say anything about them. But the Fresh and Fit guys, from what I remember, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're anti-Semitic too. Anti-Semitism isn't cool. Nick Fuentes on a podcast when he did with what's the name, Piers Morgan, he said, "Oh yeah, the new generation, they don't really care about what's nice or not nice. They don't care that being anti-Semitic is not nice. It's cool. They see all the edits, blah blah blah." That was a stupid argument. Just because people see edits of Adolf Hitler doesn't mean that Adolf Hitler was cool. He fucking wasn't cool. Nick Fuentes literally said word for word that Adolf Hitler is really fucking cool. That's fucking stupid. That's a really stupid thing to say. Adolf Hitler did a fucking massacre against the Jews. He was one of the worst persons in the 20th century. It's not cool to say that Adolf Hitler was really fucking cool, because he wasn't. He was a piece of shit human being. He had a lot of hatred in his heart, and he wasn't a good guy. And he was really anti-Semitic. And also, if I might add, anyone who denies the Holocaust is a piece of shit human being, and he's fucking dumb. The Holocaust did happen, and it was a real thing. But to get back to the main argument, first of all, Clavicular, when he was with Sneeko, the Fresh and Fit guys, the Tate brothers, Nick Fuentes, they looked gay all together. I don't know. The hangout was weird in a way. I don't know. And they were bumping that song. Then they were bumping it at the club, but I cannot blame them for that because maybe someone else at the club wanted it. I don't know. But they did have a big influence at the club because they bought a lot of bottles and they are really fucking famous. But on the way to the club, they were in a bus and they could have bumped any song they wanted. And they bumped, I don't know what's the name of the song. I think it's HH by Kanye West. And that wasn't cool. Okay, so guys, let's talk about wokeism. I know I talked about it a lot on my podcasts, but let me address it one more time. I hate wokeism, and I hate woke people. I don't hate the people who are behind the woke ideology. I don't hate them. I don't hate anyone because of someone who loves Jesus Christ and who is Christian. We are brought up to love everyone and to understand everyone. But I don't like the woke ideology, and I don't like wokeism. You know how much I hate wokeism. But some people overcorrect everything that wokes have fucked up in the past. What I don't like about wokeism is the DEI, is the giving people things that they don't deserve. It's basically, what I hate the most about wokeism is people from the left and from woke people who constantly bash white people and who constantly bash the Western world. That's one thing I don't like about wokeism. And the other thing is, this is probably the biggest thing that I hate about wokeism, is the loss of meritocracy. Is them wanting to abolish meritocracy, and is them wanting that meritocracy doesn't exist anymore. They want meritocracy to be something of the past and to be something that doesn't exist anymore. That's the thing that I hate the most about wokeism and about woke people, is that they hate meritocracy. The reason that the Western world is so fucking developed and is so fucking prosperous and flourishes so well is specifically because of meritocracy. Meritocracy is earning a position or earning something in a society based on your competency and based on your skills and experience and everything else. That's one of the most important aspects of the Western society, is meritocracy. Now, I gave you the brief definition of meritocracy, but let me give you the full and clear dictionary definition of meritocracy, just for the fucks of it. Why the fuck did Google give me that? Meritocracy. Government or the holding of power by people selected on the basis of their ability. Not because they're black, not because they're white, not because they're gay, not because they're straight, not because they identify as a basketball, not because they identify as a watermelon, not because they're brown, not because they're Muslim, not because they're Jew, not because they're Christian, but basis but based on their abilities. That's what makes the Western world so fucking prosperous and so dominant and so beautiful, is that people get positions of power on the basis of their competency and on the basis of their skill set and on the basis of their abilities. Not because they're someone's son, not because they're someone's daughter, but because of their abilities and because of their competency. That's what makes the Western world so great. So the main reason that I hate woke people and that I hate wokeism so much is because that they want to take out meritocracy and they want to install DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's fucking stupid. People should get positions because they deserve it based on their skill set, based on their competency, and based on their abilities, not based on their skin color, not based on their political affiliations, not based on their religious affiliations, not based on their fucking, I don't know what, based on their background, ethnic background, racial background, but based on their abilities, competency, and skill set. So that's why I hate wokeism so much, because they hate meritocracy and they want to get rid of one of the most beautiful aspects of democracy and of the Western world, meritocracy. Talking about human beings, all human beings across the world, I said it so many times, all human beings, we're all different, right? We vary from culture to culture, society to society, and even in the same society, amongst humans, amongst individuals, we have many different individuals, which is what makes the world so beautiful, is that we're all different. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. So as different as we can be, we're also really fucking similar. And one thing that history has taught us about human nature is that we all hate being told what to do, and we all hate not having freedom and not being free. That's why Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette got their heads chopped off, because the population, because the people, they rose and they said, you know what? I don't want a fucking king anymore. I don't want someone telling me what to do. I don't have fucking bread. I don't have food on my table. Down with the monarchy. Down with the king. Let's kill Louis XVI and let's kill his wife to make sure that after he's dead, there's no more kings. That's why Saddam Hussein was hanged by the neck, captured by his own people or by the Americans. I'm not really sure now speaking. Maybe I should have saw before. And that's why Gaddafi got killed and got captured and killed by his own people. There's literally a video on YouTube of Gaddafi getting caught by his own people of Libya and then getting killed like a dog in the street. Why? It's because the population in the beginning fearful of him. But once they get tired, once the population gets tired of having someone telling them what to do and having someone not giving them freedom and not giving them the ability to do whatever they want to do and giving them the ability to be free, it's only a question of time that the population rises and kills him or gets rid of him. Cuba right now is a dictatorship. I think like Raul, who is currently dictator of Cuba, he knows that people are sick and tired. So that's why he's acting like he is a dictator, but he's really pretty cool and nonchalant about it. He's not infringing on people's liberties and freedoms that much, because he knows that if he does, he's going to get his fucking head chopped off. And that's why it's only a question of time that either Kim Jong-un or his successor will get killed or taken out, because people, at the end of the day, all human beings want to be free, and all human beings across the world want to have freedom. It's a normal human reaction. It's built in our nature. We don't like to be told what to do. Some people take it better than others. Some people are more tolerant to orders than others. But at the end of the day, no human being likes to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. We all love to have freedom and to have our own free will and to do what we please to do. That's human nature, and that's normal. That's why one day China won't be a dictatorship anymore. That's why one day North Korea won't have a dictator anymore. And that's why almost every single country on planet Earth doesn't have a dictator or a king or an absolute monarch, because the population got up and said, enough is enough. we don't fucking want it anymore. That's why that's why Americans in 1776, when they didn't want to have King George as their king anymore, they said, you know what? Let's write our own constitution. Let's become our own country. And if the English don't want it, fuck them. Let's go to war. That's what they said, and that's what they did. That's why when French people in France, when they were sick and tired of having a king take away all of their liberties and freedoms and to tell them what to do and when to do it, how to do it, that's why they said the population rose and they said, enough is enough. Bring me Louis XVI. Bring me his wife. We're chopping their fucking heads. That's what happens. That's what happened. And it's going to happen to any society. It's only a question of time. It happened to Gaddafi. It happened to Saddam Hussein. And it's going to happen to any other dictator or king or monarch. It's going to happen in Saudi Arabia also. Believe me, one day, Saudi Arabia currently, right now, they have a king. They also have a prince, bin Salman. I forgot their name. But there's a king and a prince in Saudi Arabia right now currently. And they act like kings. They act like dictators. They can literally do whatever they want to do. They can kill whoever they want to kill. They can literally do whatever they want to do with the population and with the country. One day, the people will rise, they will get up, and they will say, enough is enough. Down with the king. Let's kill the king. Let's get rid of him because we cannot take this anymore. At the end of the day, human beings cannot control other human beings. Human beings, by nature, by default, don't have power over other human beings. The only reason that some human beings do have power over you or other human beings is because we allow them, we let those people have power over us. But the second we say enough is enough, we're not letting them control us anymore and we're not giving them any more power, that's where the power shifts and they don't have any more power over us. That's how it works. And throughout history, what societies have shown us throughout history is that the power is truly to the people. The people, the majority of people have the power. We have the power. The people, power to the people. Because once the population decides that enough is enough, enough is fucking enough. That's what happens. Once the Saudi Arabian population will decide that enough is enough, once the North Korean society decides that enough is enough, once the Chinese population decides that enough is enough, they will rise and they will kill whoever they have to kill in order for them to be free and in order for them to have full freedom. That's how it's done. It's not a question of yes or no. It's a question of when. It's going to happen one day. It's only a question of when. And that's the only way, if now speaking to Saudi Arabia, speaking to any population or to any society who is currently living under a dictatorship, under a kingship, or under anything that isn't a democracy, the only way you guys can get democracy and the only way you guys can get freedom and liberty is if you guys say enough is enough, you go to the streets and you say enough is enough, we don't want a king anymore, we don't want to be controlled anymore. That's the only way. We can have the Americans kill your king and your dictator whenever, but if the population doesn't have the balls to get up and say enough is enough, they're just going to replace that guy with another dictator, with another king, and you guys are going to be in the same boat, in the same situation as you guys were before the Americans killed that guy. So that's why simply killing Kim Jong-un or simply killing Khomeini or simply killing bin Salman from Saudi Arabia or simply killing the Xi Jinping from China isn't enough, because the population has to say enough is enough. We want democracy, we want liberty, and we want freedom. That's how it's done. But like I said, it's only a question of time, because as human beings, we all want freedom, and history has proved it over and over, time after time, society after society. America is a modern day Roman Empire. This is what I mean. So talking with my friends recently, they said, oh, Andre, one day China is going to be the superpower and they're going to dethrone America. And I said, impossible. What are the reasons why? Because first of all, America is going to be the next superpower for like the next 150, 200 years minimum. So as long as we're alive, don't worry about anything. America is always going to be the superpower. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes many, many years, many, many decades, many big world events have to happen in order for there to be a power shift. So far, America is not only the biggest superpower, but it is by far the biggest superpower on planet Earth. Like some of you guys don't even realize the level of difference between America's army and China's army or Russia's army. The level of difference is so fucking crazy. America's army is bigger than the following 10 armies put together. Meaning that America has a bigger army than China and Russia put together. Way bigger army than them. That is the level of difference of armies between those countries. Like, I think I saw somewhere that America spends close to $1.7 trillion a year on their army, and China spends like $150 billion. Like, do you understand how much of a big fucking difference that is? How much of a big level of difference that is? It's crazy. And Russia spends like $100 billion a year on their army, whilst America spends like close to $1 trillion, or is it? Let me get the full facts so I'm not just speaking out of my ass right now. How much does America spend on their army annually? It's going to be something crazy. And plus, recently, Trump just rose the prices. Not the prices, but he brought the budget up for their spending. So estimates from some sources show the U.S. military budget approaching about $900 billion to nearly $1 trillion in recent years, making it far larger than that of other countries. Crazy. There are proposals in government to raise it even further in future years. Proposals around $1.5 trillion. But these are subject to congressional approval and debate. Do you understand how fucking crazy that is? And now, let me compare it with other people's armies, like Russia, like China. Compare it with China's army and Russia's army. And just so you guys know how it works, that to be the biggest superpower in the world, you have to only have one thing, the biggest army. That's it. If you have the biggest army and the strongest army, you have the biggest superpower in the world. It's that simple. The US spends by far the most in the world, around $900 billion to nearly $1 trillion plus annually on defense. That's more than 3 times what China spends and many times more than Russia. China has the second largest military budget in the world. Estimates put China's defense spending at around $235 billion. So America spends 4 to 5 times more than what China spends on their army. Do you understand how fucked up that is? Do you understand the level of difference? So, and Russia spends $145 billion on their army annually. China spends $235. So let's put that together. Let's say it's $400 billion to be safe. 235 plus 145. Let's round it up to 400. America still spends 2 to 3 times more than China and Russia put together. Do you understand how fucked up that is? So let's say China and Russia put their army together. America still has 2 to 3 times a bigger and better army than those 2 countries put together. That's the level of difference between America and China and Russia. That's the level of fucking difference, and it's fucking huge. It's not close. It's not like, oh my god, in the following years China's gonna be the superpower. No, it's like maybe in 300 years China's gonna then maybe be the superpower if everything goes correctly, everything goes according to their plan, and everything goes in their favor. Then that can happen. But also, if I might add, get back to my previous argument, when I said America is a modern-day Roman Empire, this is what I meant. Before, the Roman Empire was the most powerful empire on planet Earth. It is actually the most successful and prosperous empire to ever exist. They've been on top for 1,000 years, which is fucking insane. For people who don't know, America has only became the world superpower in 1945 after the Second World War, with their bill that they wrote, with their Marshall Plan. Actually, is a Marshall Plan that made America the greatest country and the most powerful country on planet Earth. Because what happened during World War II in Europe, all the countries were destroying each other, and America, nothing was happening to America because the war wasn't in America. And while those countries were destroying themselves for 5 years, the war was for 6 years, 1939 to 1945. Whilst they were destroying themselves for 5 years, America was just building their economy, making a lot of ammunitions, making a lot of guns, and just selling it to the Europeans. And they were making a lot of fucking money while the European countries, who at that time, especially England, they were the powerhouse of the world. So they were constantly destroying themselves for 5 years. America was just making more and more money. They were prosperous. Actually, for people who don't know, the Great Depression in America started in 1929. The reason that it ended in 1939 is because the Second World War started, and the economy in America, because of that, was booming. It fucking flourished, and they created millions of jobs, millions of dollars, billions of dollars even, and the economy was fucking booming in America because of the Second World War. And once the Second World War ended, for people who don't know, again, America only entered Second World War in 1944 with D-Day. D-Day, that was the first time Americans landed on European soil for Second World War. That was in 1944. So Americans basically only fought 1 year in World War II. Only 1 year, and then they dropped the atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then the war was over. So they only fought for 1 year. The war wasn't in North America, it was in Europe. So the European powerhouses like Germany, England, France, they were destroying each other. They were getting weaker and weaker, whilst America was just flourishing, getting better and better, richer and richer, and just a bigger and bigger powerhouse. And then once the war was over, Europe was destroyed. So European countries, they needed money to rebuild their countries. Where did they get their money from? From who did they get their money from? Of course, from the United States of America. That's where the Marshall Plan came into play. The Marshall Plan was America lending a lot of fucking money to the Europeans so they can build up their country again and accumulate that over the years. America was making billions, trillions of dollars with the Marshall Plan. And that plan, in 1945, that's when America became the biggest powerhouse in the world because of two reasons. World War II, the European countries who were at the time before World War II, they were the biggest powerhouse in the world, especially England. They were getting destroyed by World War II, so they're getting weaker and weaker, poorer and poorer. They were getting their country destroyed. And then the Marshall Plan, with America lending a lot of fucking money to the European countries, them making a lot of money. Those two events, those two key factors made America the biggest powerhouse in the world. So, like the Roman Empire was the biggest powerhouse for 1,000 years, England was the biggest powerhouse for like 500 to 600 years. America hasn't been yet the powerhouse for not even 100 of years. 1945, 2026, how long is that? That's 79 years. It's only been 79 years that America is the biggest powerhouse in the world. So believe me, we still have 300 years, and that's only me being conservative, being nice, of America being the powerhouse. So people who say that, oh yeah, in the next 20 years, China's going to be the powerhouse, pump your fucking brakes, chill the fuck out, because it's not fucking happening. That's not how it happens. America, for the rest of my lifetime, your lifetime, your kids' lifetimes, your kids' lifetimes, America is going to be the most powerful country on planet Earth. They still have a minimum of 300 years if everything goes just normal. Not even according to plan, just normal. So that's how it works. And even if there was to be a future powerhouse, a future most powerful country in the world, it's not going to happen overnight with a random country. That's not how it works. America comes from England. England comes from the Roman Empire. It follows. That's how it works. The future country, who knows what's going to happen in 300 years? We're all going to be dead. Who fucking knows what's going to happen? But in 300 years or 400, I don't know what's this exact number. But when there is going to be a future powerhouse or a future most powerful country in the world, it's going to be a country that comes from America. Somehow, maybe it's going to be California. They're going to form their own country. Something's going to happen. Boom, 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 here, there, and whatever. They become their own country. And then because California is so fucking rich, they're the most powerful country on planet Earth. Maybe it's going to be Texas. Maybe it's going to be another country. Maybe Trump's going to invade fucking Mexico and then something's going to happen. But the main point is that the future powerhouse, first of all, is going to be in hundreds of years. The future powerhouse is going to be a country that comes from America in one way or another. Like I said, before America, the powerhouse was England. America comes from England. English people, they sent settlers and conquerors to America. They built the country, and then they became the powerhouse. Before England, with the Roman Empire, England was part of the Roman Empire. I mean, the territory was. And then when the Roman Empire ceased to exist, it became Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Yugoslavia, and all these countries. Greece became all those countries. They were the powerhouse. And then now it's America. And however many years, 300 years, 200 years, it's going to be another country that has something to do with America. It's not going to be a random country in Africa. It's not going to be fucking Kazakhstan. One day it's going to wake up and become the powerhouse. That's not how it works. It's going to be a country that logically follows the flow of America, Britain, and whatever. Talking about culture and countries, all human beings want to protect their group identity. Of course, you guys know how much on my podcast I speak mostly about becoming the best version of yourself, having a individualistic mentality, meaning that not being a bad person, just meaning that you should not only care about yourself, but put and value who you will become and accomplish your dreams and become the best version of yourself, because you can only control who you will become, and you can only control your actions, right? So you shouldn't really focus and put too much attention into your group's actions, because you cannot control them, and you cannot control what they do. If they fuck up in life, they fuck up in life. You don't fuck up in life. Just make sure your life is the best. But at the end of the day, we all love watching sports. We all have a team. Even if we don't play on that team, we still root for that team. And we still have a sense of like we're a part of that team, because that's just how we human beings are. So having said that, all human beings want to protect their group identity, their culture, and their way of life, which is, I mean, no problem there. I love it. All my friends who are Algerians, they really love Algeria. They want to protect Algeria, their way of life, their culture. Same goes for my friends who are from Haiti, from Congo, from Serbia, from Spain, from Portugal, from China, from wherever. They're all proud of their identity. They're all proud of their country. They're all proud of their culture, which is okay and it's fine. And I totally respect that. But when white countries like America, like Canada, when they have the same mentality, they get bashed on. Why? I'm asking you guys a question. Why is that the fact? When China wants to remain Chinese and when they want to preserve their culture, their identity, their way of life, everyone praises them. Everyone says, oh my God, you go girl. Maybe not you go girl, but they praise them and they say how much of a good job they're doing and how smart it is what they're doing. But when someone says that they want to keep Canada, Canada, they want to keep Canadian culture Canadian, they want to keep the Canadian way of life Canadian, they get called bigots, they get called racists, and they get called far-right extremists, neo-Nazis. That's fucking crazy. Like I said, all my friends are from Congo. I don't want to single out Congo. I'm just using Congo as an example. All my friends are from Congo. They love Congo. They want to keep Congo. They want to preserve their culture, their way of life. They want to preserve the country and the culture as it is right now. Totally fine. Totally respectable. But it goes both ways. When Canada wants to remain Canada, is the same as when Congo wants to remain Congo. Is the same as when Congolese people want to remain Congolese and when they want Congo to remain Congo. When Canadians want Canada to remain Canada, is the same logic. But with all these wokeists and woke people that we have in Canada, they bash them. They bash the people who are proud to be Canadian and who are proud to be patriotic. They bash them, call them racists, and call them neo-Nazis, far-right extremists, and whatever else. But those wokeists, those same woke people, praise and call the Congolese people who want to keep Congo patriotic and who are patriotic of their country and want to keep Congolese culture Congolesian and want to keep the way of life from Congo. They praise them and tell them, oh my God, you guys are such good, brave soldiers, brave citizens, whatever. But they bash the white people who want to protect their country. If we're being logical, if we put emotion to the side, that's not logical and that's not rational. So let's be fair. Like Joe Rogan once said on a podcast, he said, and I'm quoting him word for word, when China wants to remain China, they get praised and they get applauded. But when Poland wants to remain white and wants to remain Poland, they get called racists, bigots, and the worst of the worst, far-right extremists, neo-Nazis. Why is that the case? Joe Rogan isn't a dumb person. He's a really smart person. If he raised that question, if he asked that question, it's because that question was worth getting asked. And I asked you guys the same question. Why is that the fact? How long have I done? 1 hour? Why not? Why it's a little more? Rule. Let me finish off with some quotes. It's là, toi? Okay, I'll finish off with some quotes and we'll cut the episode right there. I'll leave these other topics for another reality check. Okay, so let's get into these iconic quotes that shaped history. So I saw this on, I think, Twitter, and these are really beautiful quotes. And I said, you know what? I love doing beautiful quotes on my podcast, analyzing them or just talking about them. So let's start off with iconic quotes that shaped history. First quote is from Sun Tzu. He said, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." I guess what he meant is you're so fucking dominant and you're so many levels above your enemy that you're able to subdue him and to already win without having to fight. That's pretty badass. Like the beginning of my episode when I said that I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. You have to be a really fucking top G. This is a top G quote if I'm being honest. Next quote from Socrates. He said, "I know that I know nothing." So that's why he was constantly questioning everything. Socrates, one of the biggest philosophers of all time, one of the smartest individuals of modern times, not ancient Greece, not really modern times, one of the smartest individuals of all time. He said, "I know that I know nothing." Of course, we don't have to take it word for word, but what he meant is constantly question everything, and asking questions is the best way to find the truth and to see reality of things. Asking questions is probably the greatest aspect all human beings have. When you start a new job, if you want to be really successful at that job and you're new to that job, you're new to that domain, you're new to that field, the best thing you can literally do is go see someone who's really successful in that domain, in that job, and ask him a lot of fucking questions so you get all the information that he acquired from from decades of working there, from all his previous experience of years and years of working there. The best thing you can do is ask questions. Next quote is from Julius Caesar. This is pretty much a badass quote. "I came, I saw, I conquered. Veni, vidi, vici." I think this is pretty self-explanatory. The Roman Empire conquered so much. They're the most powerful empire of all time, the most successful empire of all time. Julius Caesar, who was one of the most successful emperors to ever rule the Roman Empire, he simply said, I came, I saw, I conquered. Next quote, René Descartes. He said, "I think, therefore I am." Facts. First of all, you must think, whoever you want to become, you must first think that you can become him, and then you slowly become that person. By thinking you are that person, your brain will subconsciously wire you to act the way that person would act and to think the way that person would think. Slowly, day after day, week after week, month after month, of doing things that person would do, the person you're aiming to be, slowly, subconsciously, you're becoming that person, and then one day you will become that person and you will reach your full potential. And also, if I might add, the best way to reach your full potential and the best way to become the best version of yourself is to face your fears, to challenge yourself every single day, and to surpass your challenges. That's when you level up, and then when you reach your full potential as a human being. Galileo Galilei, he said, "And yet it moves." He's holding a globe. I don't really fucking know what he means by this. Let's go to the next quote. William Shakespeare. "To be or not to be, that is the question." You know, I heard this quote so many fucking times, and I still don't know what he really means by this quote. To be or not to be, that is the question. Actually, you know what? When I'm going to clip this, people, please, in the comments, tell me, what is your opinion? What are your thoughts on this quote? What do you think he meant when he said this quote? To be or not to be, that is the question. William Shakespeare, was he just acting all cool and artistic? Or was he truly saying something that was philosophical? Who fucking knows? Artists can sometimes be weird. Maybe he was just trying to be different and cool. I don't fucking know, but that is a really world famous quote. Napoleon Bonaparte, he said, impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. Of course, Napoleon, I think that the name pretty much speaks for itself. One of the biggest conquerors of all time, one of the most accomplished individuals of all time, one of the biggest human beings to ever exist. And he said, impossible is a word to be found only in a dictionary of fools, meaning that nothing is impossible. If you truly put the time and you truly put the will into it, there is a way. And if you're looking for a way and you never give up, you will find a way. Abraham Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people. Like I said in my podcast, this podcast, at the end of the day, the power belongs to the people. Because once the major population decides to rise and they want something, they're gonna fucking get it. History has proved it many times, generations after generations, society after society. The power will always be to the people. Next quote from Martin Luther King. He said, I have a dream. Of course, that comes from his famous speech, I have a dream, where he wants, this was in the civil rights movement in America, where he wanted black people, African Americans, to have the same civil rights as white people. And then he did his famous speech of, I have a dream that one day my kids won't get judged on the basis of their skin color, but on the basis of who they are as a person. Of course, I'm paraphrasing it, but that was the general gist of his speech. Isaac Newton, he said, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. That's what I meant by asking questions. When you learn about people who accomplished a lot, when you ask them questions, when you juice out of them all of their knowledge, you will see even further and you will accomplish even more than what you would have accomplished if you wouldn't have juiced all of that information and all of that knowledge out of them. That's why old people, very senior people, that's why it's really good to talk to them, because as dumb as a grandpa can be, as dumb as a senior person can be, they have like life experience. Like it or not, that's a fact. They lived life for many, many years. They have seen shit that you can only see by living life. And even if they're dumb, even if they have a low IQ, they're gonna have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience to transfer down to you. Karl Marx, workers of the world unite. He was a communist, so that's what he meant. Marie Curie, nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Facts, man. We shouldn't fear anything but fear itself. We should only fear itself. But nothing in this life should be feared, only understood. When you have fear of something, it's because we don't understand it. Our brain doesn't understand it. Our subconscious mind doesn't understand it. And our nervous system doesn't understand that situation or that specific moment. That's why we get all stressed out and we get all fearful of a situation or of something, is because our body and our biology doesn't know or understand what's happening right now. So that's why we shouldn't fear anything but fear itself. Mahatma Gandhi, he said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Facts. We all talk about, I want to see this change. I wish people were more like this or like that. Instead of talking about what a good man should be, start being that good man. And instead of talking about all the change that you want to see in the world, we're all human beings. We all have two hands. We all have the same power. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Next quote, imagination is more important than knowledge. Fact. Because knowledge is limited. We all have limited knowledge based on which society we're living in, based on which time frame we're living in, based on which, how can I say this? Which generation? Not really generation. Based on which knowledge we have, based on our advancements, knowledge is limited. But imagination isn't limited. It's limitless, and anything is possible with imagination. And like Napoleon said, impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. So nothing is impossible. So that's why when you have imagination, it's more important than having knowledge, because with imagination, you have no limits and you can do whatever you want to do. John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. 50-50. If he means that by you accomplishing your dreams and by you becoming the best person, the best version of yourself, naturally that translates to you helping your society and helping your country become a better place, I'm all for it. But for me to go now and die in a war for my country, that's never fucking happening. I'm never gonna fucking do it because I'm not dying for any country. Because in my opinion, I know there's like this poem I read once in English class where they said that it's like a poem, and then at the end the guy said, when they said that dying for your country is the most noble thing you can do, and then he said that's the biggest lie to ever exist. And I agree. I would never die for my country, and I would never be ready to die for my country because that's so fucking stupid. The people who start the wars, the politicians, let them send their sons because I didn't start the fucking war and I'm not dying for my country. I'm sorry, but I'm not dying for my country. Winston Churchill, history will be kind to me for I intend to write it. Top G quote right there. History is written by winners. If you want to write history, you have to be a winner. And when you're a winner, you write history. So of course, history will be kind to you. Life will be kind to you. The world will be kind to you because you're a fucking winner. But you have to be a real fucking top G for that. Next quote, Neil Armstrong. He said, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. When they went to the moon, July 2nd, I know it's 1969. I know it's in July. I'm not sure exactly which date. But in July of 1969, when Neil Armstrong went to the moon with Apollo 11, that was crazy, man. That was a big, big advancement for human beings. That was the first time a man walked on the moon. It was a crazy achievement. Of course, the Americans did it because they were the biggest powerhouse in the world. Although the Russians were the first to be in space, they were the first to send a man to space, the Americans were the first to put a man on the moon. Great accomplishment. And what they did at that time, that was a giant leap for mankind. Let's do two more quotes, and that's it for this. Pablo Picasso, everything you can imagine is real. Just like Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So did Pablo Picasso say, everything you can imagine is real. If you can imagine something, if you can imagine you accomplishing something, or you being in a situation where you wish to be in your dream or in your life or in your professional setting or in your personal setting, if you can imagine it, then it's real. It's only a question of you putting in the time, putting in the effort, and then making that imagination into a reality. But if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. Last quote from Nelson Mandela, education is the powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That's true. That's why most countries, there's a correlation between the most rich countries in the world, the richest countries in the world, and the education levels. Why? Of course, I know now with social media, it's like a trend. It's really popular to say that, oh, we don't need school. University is a scam. You shouldn't go to university. It's a scam. I know it's like a trend on social media. At the end of the day, education and knowledge is the most powerful tool you can have as a human being. And before I end this episode, don't forget, guys, Jesus left the 99 sheep to go in search of that one lost sheep. He will do the same for you. That is who Jesus is. Jesus left his 99 sheep to go in search of that one lost sheep. He will do the same for mankind. He's always doing the same for mankind. He's been doing the same for mankind ever since humanity exists, and he will always do the same. If you're watching this and you feel like Jesus gave up on you or God gave up on you, believe me, he didn't, because Jesus and God will never ever give up on you. Jesus will always go in search of lost souls, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, and no matter what their past looks like. That was it for this episode, guys. Peace out.